All right, here it is. I'm gonna make it real simple and plain. I'm gonna show y'all how I came up with what I came up with. Of course, I did my own research, years of research. I read a lot, but this is an exercise in critical thinking. And I got inspiration from a lot of different people, but I'm gonna make it real easy and show you how I came up with what I came up with. Now, this is regular Google Earth. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't change or modify anything. Just went straight to Google Earth. But what I did was started with a question. And I wanted to know, I actually wanted to debunk, starting all the way back from no trees, Russian vids, to Roger and this giant creature. Because I live on this thing. I live about right here, so this is where I started. Is this a big dragon right here? That's it. I didn't modify nothing on here. I didn't do nothing, didn't change nothing. This is all regular Google Earth. This gets real deep, so hang in there with me. So I live right about here on the back of the dragon. And I got some pictures of the rocks and stuff, and I'm going to show you. These are all rocks. This is about the highest point down through here. Down here is about the lowest point. Of course, this is the eye of the dragon right here. This is the head of the dragon. This is the back and the tail. This is going to break your mind. I hate to break some people's paradigms on this, but it's going to get real serious. And so I came to the conclusion that if this is a big dragon, then the people know, the ancient people know. So then some of the names of some of these places should line up. As you can see it, if you need to see it, look at Roger's videos. Shout out to Raj. He opened a lot of our eyes. You can plainly see the bone structure. This is, like I say, the toppest part of it. Down through there. And you see all the cities alongside of it. So I was thinking what names would line up. Now these might sound crazy, but again, bear with me. First one that popped out is Virginia. Sounds a lot like Virginia. Vagina. And so that actually sort of lines up. Virginia, West Virginia. That's probably about where the vagina of this beast is. I can't even call it a beast. The ancients worshipped it. So that's approximately where. Again, the name should line up. So that means they know. So, like, even Tallahassee to me kind of sounds a lot like Talon. And I'm going to show you something that supports that also. So that's approximately where the talon of the thing might be. Maine kind of just reminds me of tail, mane and tail. So that's, to me, obviously indicating they knew the tail of it. The tail end of the mane is right here. It's because you got to figure out where do some of these names even come from. And that's something that I've always thought about, always been into, always read up on. So I know at least a little bit about a little bit. And so the places actually line up. So through years of study, like I say, I rode through all of these states. I've been to most of these states right here. Took pictures of the rocks, a lot of structures to show that it definitely is a dragon. It is something there. Some of these places kind of just jump right out at you. Like, just look at the crown, the head of the dragon. They call it Little Rock. And I ain't even go. You do your own research to see how many of these names around surrounding line up with something to do with head or crown or brain or whatever. So all of these cities are at key points. So they didn't just pop up here because it was ideal. They're popping up in places where they extracting things out of the dragon. Like, for instance, the eye of it right here. That's the lowest point. This is probably some of the lower points in our country, in Louisiana. They mined it all out, all the way down to where it's still wet at under the thing. So I looked around, and again, I ain't putting no bullet points. I'm not doing all of that for y'all. You do it for yourself. If you don't believe me, debunk me. But again, a lot of the names and stuff have meaning. They'll be for a later video. Look up some of these names and actually show you if y'all don't believe me. So again, it might take you months or years to wrap your head around this, but I'm gonna crack your head open some more. Because again, for me, you can plainly see that that is a dragon. And if you live around here and you see these rocks and stuff, then you kind of know that it is something. And if you've been a lot of places, you've been around it, it's something not much like anything else. Box almost fell on my head. So surely a lot of legends and myths and stories came from this very dragon right here. And see, that got me to thinking, that's definitely a dragon. Again, I've been to a lot of these plain states out here too. And I know they're all flat. You don't see no trees for miles and miles. People that live in there don't even believe the trees exist. If they ain't never been out of their little area, they think trees is a myth. We take it for granted. And see, look at all of those cities dotted along through there. Take note of that. That's important. They not just there because it's the best place. And if you look at these cities, you'll see you ain't even gotta add nothing or do nothing to it. You can plainly see. Look at all those little dots right there. Those are all cities. You can see how they're on a natural grid all by itself. Now, coincidence or not, it's right there in your face. So now that's everywhere. That's all across the place. So I just wanted to show you those before we continue. So then, like I said, after so many months of pondering that, the fact that we live on top of a dead carcass of a dragon, just like Jesus said, all praises to the Most High. That got me to thinking, then what is this over here? Because the topography is not matching up. It's kind of high along that ridge, and then it gets low, and all of these are plains. Then we got more mountains over here. So then, according to Roger and a lot of other guys, I'm just giving Roger because he did most of the legwork. But a lot of people did a lot of work on this. So shout out to everybody. But now we know that all mountains, all rocks is organic. At one point in time. So it's either a tree or a person, an animal. We don't know. So like I said, I came over here and I got to looking at this and I wondered what type of animal is this laying on the ground in? And I went all the way up and looked at it. It kind of reminds me of a tail, but I'm not exactly sure. And again, looking at the whole big picture, I turn it this way to save a lot of time and trouble. But I was looking at the whole big picture. What kind of animal is that? It goes all the way down to South America, all the way down there. Seems to be connected, whether it is or not, we don't know. But that high ridge with the snow-capped mountains runs all the way along there for some reason. So it looked like it was one big animal. No, that's what I initially thought. So I looked until I found something very interesting. You tell me. Stopped right here, looking, trying to figure it out. What kind of animal is that laying there? Then I decided it must be a bunch of different animals, or at least more than one. 'Cause I seen the other one where there was a fish and a dragon, and for me, it just jumped right off the page. I asked my daughter when she was 10 years old. I said, "Does that look like a dragon to you?" She said, "Yeah." Kids can see it. There's no doubt about it. And so I kind of focused in on this area right here because this particular area was drawing my attention again. I remember seeing the fish, but that ain't really what caught my attention. It's just this part looks so familiar to me. I mean, I'm a fisherman for fun, not sports. That looked like a fish to me. And I thought, damn, that's got to be a big ass bluegill or maybe big ass piranha. But by this point, I'm convinced that's the eye, that's the gill, this is the tail, and the fin is back in here somewhere. The tail fin right there. That's that back gill. I spent a few minutes trying to figure out what type of fish it is. Zoomed in about right here. Turn this on. Kind of just jumped out for me. Again, it's not hard for me to make out a fish in that image. And I know these are all mountains like the other mountains with the plains in between. And as soon as I zoomed in and popped on the labels, this jumped out at me. Salmon. So these people know. Salmon Chalice National Forest. Now we could check some of these other names around here. I'm telling you, they match up. That'll be for another video. Definitely a fish right there. And again, us knowing that it's all mountainous terrain right there, it's got to be something. And so that got me to looking around. So I did see that one easily enough. And it got me to looking around to figure out what some of this other stuff was. This kind of looked like a dragon and some other stuff, but then I was focusing in right here. I said, that kind of looks like a fish. That kind of looks like a fish. Maybe that. Maybe crawling up under it or eating it is kind of what it looks like. Looks like another dead carcass right here and another fish trying to get up under it. And this is something else right here. Now we know there's gold in them there hills. So this is what the people are mining. There's all sorts of minerals and everything in there. And this is what they're mining. Now this shows you that they know this. That's why they call it a gold vein. Now again, people know this.